Okay, this is the August 22, 2016 meeting of the Policy Committee. We're meeting at the Daniel Boone Administration Building in the cafeteria. Present from the board are
Scott Potts.
Jeff Scott.
Carol Bites. Present from the administration.
Jim Harris.
Rob Hurley.
Maggie Weber.
Thank you. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I'd like to start the meeting with the 140 policy under new business, so we can keep those moving along. As you recall, that's the end of the last bulk from PASBA, who was doing our rewrite of all our policies. So in looking at the charter school 140 program policy, are there any comments from anyone? Again, the highlights, the changes are bolded. I've been seeing a lot of things from PASBA about the whole charter school setup being questioned and the funding. But I guess for right now, all we could do is leave the standard stock policies in place. So I'm not seeing any reason to change anything in the policy. Does anybody else have any comments on 140? Pretty much the gist of this is, my understanding is that if a group of people want to get a charter school, they have to come to the school board for permission, and they have to offer something through the charter school that we don't, that the district does not. Is that your understanding of that, Mr. Harris?
I don't have that in front of me.
The 140?
I don't have it.
Okay, I can send it to you. And Mr. Wolf just joined us.
We're granting permission for what? For them to, not just to attend, but for the tax dollars to go towards the tuition?
I think it was just setting the policy in place that if anybody wanted to bring a proposal forward for charter school, this is the policy, the guidelines they would have to follow. And my understanding is by state law, they can't come to you. A group of parents can form a charter school if there is a need for something that the school does not offer. And then this would define the process and how they would have to set themselves up, their school, the board of directors. It shows the whole structure. There's much more to it than this, but this is basically the first step that we would have to take if somebody did approach us. Does anybody have any thoughts on that to the contrary?
I guess the only thing I was questioning was the transportation piece. So is that the 10 miles within the district? Is we provide transportation?
I imagine it's the same as our busing requirement for our in-house students. And again, this is a stock policy from PASBA.
But I guess the question is, do we have to provide that transportation? Is that the law?
I don't know. For the charter school?
I mean, do we do it because we have to, or because?
Oh yeah, because we have to for private schools within 10 miles, right?
I think the answer's the same.
So if I want to send my kid to the Hill School, Daniel Boone has to provide.
We do provide.
And we bust the Coventry Christian too.
Generally, what you do for yours, you have to do for all.
Yeah, I was just, like, the parameters around the 10 miles and I'm assuming that's standard.
I think we tried to partner up between, say, Twin Valley and Dayton. We already work with the Hill School. We try to meet buses and consolidate, get them there, rather than 6 at a time.
So is that something you want to look into?
No, I
Or
was
just-
just curious as to how
I'm
that,
not exactly sure.
like, we
I
said we
would,
want
that
to
would,
make it 5 miles, like, could we? I don't, it sounds like we probably can't.
probably can't. But you know what, I'll get us an answer. Mr. Harris, would you be kind enough to get us an answer on that? Is that something we want to talk to the attorney about?
I was just more my own, if it's, you know, I'm assuming it's.
Transportation.
I'm just going to figure if it's in the policy, that's kind of, this is probably written right out as the
I mean,
law.
they didn't. What's in bold is what was changed.
Correct.
So it's not.
I'm just assuming we didn't have that in there, but we have it for private schools,
Oh, because-
obviously, because we already do it.
Oh, because the whole transportation section is bold now. I see why you're concerned. Yeah, I think that's a question to be had.
What's the question now?
Do we have to, why was this added? It wasn't in the
Because-
existing policy.
Because generally the money is passed through. So if the money that comes, usually if we're the authorizer of a charter school program, the money passes through us and goes to them. That's why when we had the impasse, the charters, it didn't really affect us that much. But in other districts, counties where there are a lot of charter schools, the schools were holding the money. And remember, Lauren, when I first got said we're going to hold the payment for some things, that's where it comes into play. So with transportation, generally we have a walk zone of a mile. What we do for ours, we can do for them. So with us having it contracted out, it doesn't really affect us too much because it falls onto our contracted provider to do transportation. It would be different if we did it in-house. But they have to provide transportation because they don't want them to. It's an advantage to the charters, basically.
And that we can't discriminate,
No.
basically, is that what you're saying?
No.
Regardless of where they go? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Do we even, you okay? All right with that, Mr. Scoffin? We'll move that along. Any other concerns? Joining us from the administration is Mr. Miller. Hello, Mr. Miller.
Hi.
And do either of you have access to 623? My emails won't load from the server. You have access to your emails from 623 that you can send Mr. Harris the policies that we're reviewing tonight? I can't get to it.
Are you online?
I have all kinds of problems with my Apple here.
I've seen it yet.
Yeah, mine's an old one. Yeah, they just don't load. It just, this is as far down as
I
I
have the
go.
hard copies, that's it,
Updated 3 minutes ago.
And I can't get out to the server.
from the last meeting.
You have the hard copies. I have the hard copy. Can you send them that email with the attachments? Okay, I'm in my inbox. And all I can do, I only go back a month. We're 1607. I just can't get any
It
more.
doesn't go back that far.
It will if you're connected right. I can get them all usually. Okay, so we're gonna move 140. You can't either.
I can't go. I can only go back so far.
I always can at home. I don't have any trouble at home. Okay, so extracurricular participation by the charter cyber school students.
That's it. No. very little change on this.
Okay, I actually have the section of the school code, section 1726A, under transportation. Getting back to the question on 140, it says, "Students who attend a charter school located in their school district of residence, a regional charter school of which the school district is a part, or a charter school located outside district boundaries at a distance not exceeding 10 miles by the nearest public highway, shall be provided free transportation to the charter school by their school district of residence on such dates and periods that the charter school is in regular session, whether or not transportation is provided on such dates and periods to students attending regular school in the district." So the backup documentation is right from the school code.
That just talks to aligning your calendars together.
It says it, yeah.
Sometimes the charter school has a different calendar than a public school does. So the problem comes into play if, once again, if it was transportation in-house, if it was a holiday for us or a PD day, and we weren't in session January 10th, but they were, so then we would be charged a double time rate almost by our bus service to transport them. But since we don't do it, it doesn't really affect us at all because there's an outside service that does our transportation.
We have that problem with all the busing that we do, all the private school busing that we do. That happens with First Catholic too. There's days that you guys don't have school and we do.
Right, but that doesn't affect us.
We still have to provide the busing regardless.
Right, but since it's a contracted service, there's
Right,
no
right,
district.
right,
It's,
right.
they'd have to provide
But the key here is the distance of 10 miles by public highway, I think is what the question was. All right, so 141, anybody have any comments on that? In other words, they have to be permitted to participate in our extracurriculars.
I don't know if we talked about that before.
We had the swimmer who got an award because he was homeschooled and was at our graduation, didn't get a diploma, got a certificate. They participated.
Okay, I'm okay with that one. Board, the rest of the committee? You okay to move it? Okay. Migrant students, 142.
What is a migrant student?
A migrant student would, I could be wrong, Rob, but a migrant student is someone who travels with their family for work, correct? Yeah. So if we were in a blueberry picking area and we had a season, families would move in, pick blueberries for 2 months, 3 months, and they would enroll in our school. And then at the end of that period of picking season, they would move on to the next location.
Do we have a lot of that?
What we do have is, we do have a significant homeless population that moves that go in as they get evicted, they're homeless and things like that, so that, and they double up with another family and things like that. And there are laws and policies that we have to do complicated into, where we have to provide certain services to them, like transportation, even if they're outside of our district and things like that. So I kind of went off on a tangent. But
Good, so the homeless population, which we do have,
we do
I
have-
understand,
we do
in
have-
our
yeah,
district,
because the-
has to be served
Yeah, and they are-
properly. Can I have that email? Can I have that email too?
You
can't get to it.
There's here for one bill outside.
I'm going to take a break from this meeting for like a 5-minute break so we can all get our documents in place. We're having some trouble. I was planning on being able to load up documents from the server and I can't, so I have to find my paper copies. So I'm just going to go offline for a couple minutes till we get our documents in front of us. Okay? Is that all right with you? All right, the Policy Review Committee is in recess for 5 minutes.